Today our Youth Truth segment is Do I Hate My Black Self, True or False? So next we're going to start getting into our mass media. We know how big mass media is currently and the effects that social, TV, newspaper has on the community today. So I wanted to start with you, Sydney, and ask you the role that mass media, black icons, everything social that may play a part in why African Americans may or may not hate themselves.
Well, today especially, you see so many reality TV shows with black women. Was it Bad Girls Club, Love and Hip Hop?
Right.
Right, I don't watch it either. But they depict black women in such a disgusting way. Like when, in my school, we have white kids who can be a little ignorant sometimes. So they take what they see on television and apply it to black people in real life, and that's not how it is. I don't have a weave. I try to dress appropriately. I don't get in fights. I don't drink. I don't have a child. None of that stuff. Like, I feel like the criteria for black women is like ridiculous, how they think that we are, and it's not true. And then in my school, like, people hear how I talk or how I act and things I'm involved in, and they say, oh, you're not black. Well, why do you say that? Because I'm not doing the ignorant things that you think I should be doing? Well, you're wrong, because that's not what black is. And I feel like what people think black is just being determined by the mass media, and it's so wrong. That's not how it is, and we're allowing that to define us. And also, I see a lot of famous black men who have been successful and made it, and in the media, all you see them with are white women. And also, when you watch music videos or any movies, a lot of movies I see, black women, they're always either light-skinned or they're just not there, or they're depicted in a negative way. And I feel like that's definitely a factor, because the way we're depicted in mass media is definitely affecting how we see ourselves and how other people see us.
When we go back in history, mass media made white theaters look appealing, better than ours. It made their banks look better, their schools look better, their people look better, their people were represented in a way that we felt we should be. So it made us want to be a part of that, not knowing that it's a lure, to lure you into their jurisdiction, into their comfort zone so they can attack. It makes it easy. So when you have what we call a video vixen now, she's 2 pounds with blonde weave all the way down to her ankles, with blue contacts in. That same blonde hair, blue eye, that same stereotype of what beauty is or what things are. So when we have our daughters who think that the only thing they have to do to be successful is acquiesce to a man's whim, or they have to look a certain way, to play that role like you were talking about, that leads to a class of people who are subject, or who are pretty much a lower class, lower than lower class, is when you have children who are used to television instantly gratifying their need to be stimulated. And when they go to school, they supposedly can't sit still or don't learn, when that's an innate energy of especially black males to move, to learn through touching things. So you have things that they'll call so-called ADHD. Then they'll put the commercial on TV for you to buy their medication that might cause stroke, heart attack, and death, just so your child can sit still. So then you have the Ritalin phenomenon, when you're making your 5-year-old dependent on a drug that stifles his ability to think properly on the level, the cosmic level that we do. So when you do that, there's a whole bunch of people who are drug dependent and unable to think. So all you gotta do is feed them that modern day mass media BS, blonde hair, blue eyes, runs in Bentleys, fronts, and some idiot on TV who barely speaks bad English.
Cashmere.
We look at the gentrification of our communities, even within, say Maryland with Bastille, and even in, like say Detroit and so forth, with the motor vehicle corporations moving out, and we have, of course, welfare and so forth, and how that whole dynamic pushed African American men out of the home, and then the glorification of I guess the perception of, or the false connotation of what African American women really look like, They perceived us on TV and in the media as being, well, black women being strung out or having 6 children at home with no father in the home, but they don't look at the real reasons why that is. And those things do perpetuate within our communities, and it also perpetuates the stereotypes around the community as well, outside of our communities, within white communities and Hispanic communities and so forth. So we look at some of these things and we have to recognize that it goes further than just where we currently are and what we look at on TV. It comes from a long time of oppression, and it's visual as well as internal.
How you've seen the roles that mass media has played from back in your time to right now, and the effects that it has on African Americans.
Same thing, attack, attack, attack. The image of anyone is powerful, and if it can be defined as being weak, negative, buffoonery, white world supremacy is doing exactly what I expect them to do. They're not our friends. In the last 5 years, the United States has changed its image abroad, trying to make people in the world think that there is a unanimity and a harmony of black people with white people in America. They use the image of your first African American president to make the world believe that black people in America now have no reason to fight, that all opportunities are open to them, that what they had to succumb to is no longer in existence. And look at us now. We are America. So for the world, it is everything is okay. So the image is that now America is your real leader in the world, and that black people in America are now comfortable, and they have every opportunity, their children, to aspire to the so-called American dream. White world supremacy is doing exactly what it is designed to do with the media, and that is to paint themselves as being the world's savior, and at the same time letting them know that their happy darkies are now even happier.
I wanted to ask you, as far as economically, do you feel that mass media kind of changes its outlook on the economic standpoint for blacks? So the music videos, is that more likely to influence maybe, I say, a boy from the hood rather than a boy who lives maybe in the county and has a better lifestyle?
A negative impact on a lot of our young men, specifically because when we're in our adolescent stage, we're trying to figure out who we are. We're trying to make sense of this world, and we're trying to make sense of what we're going to be doing. And if all we see in our community is, first and foremost, what's on TV, you see a man with his pants hanging off his behind, and then he has girls with him, and he has nice cars, and he has fronts, and all he's doing is rapping. And that's what he sees on TV. He says, you know what, I want to look like that. I want to be like that. I want to have what they have. And then he goes down to the community and he sees the only people that are doing better than him are the ones who are on the corner selling or doing exactly what he saw on TV, and they're carrying weapons and so forth. So all they see is, first and foremost, the fast money. They see the fast come up, but they don't necessarily see men in the neighborhood who are going to school and who are being educated and are furthermore working and showing that, you know what, they can lead not just their family but their communities. We don't get to see that, partly because of the historical content, the context of what was going on with welfare and so forth, and then also what is now being, I guess, pumped into the media.
The only difference, I think, is that boys in the county may have a safety net because they live in the county and their parents have stable jobs, and those in the city are just straight, it's just down, spiraling down. But they end up the same things, they dress the same ignorant behavior. I can't even tell you how many kids, black kids, get locked up a year for selling marijuana in my school. For what? You could easily get a job. I think it's ridiculous. And the complacency that Brother Lumumba was talking about, I think that is one of the things that draws kids away from black history. They don't need it anymore. They don't need to know it. They shouldn't care. And I also think that it's something that leaves them high and dry when buying a weave in the blue context doesn't work out. You won't have any skill because you didn't try for it, you weren't pressing for it, you figured it would just come easy. And so when that doesn't work out, you're on welfare, you have 6 kids, and it just starts over again.
Yeah.
I don't know, go ahead.
You know, the nationalist community felt that the so-called victory for integration was not a victory at all. That the segregated community upon where our children seen their parents work and have small businesses, and we were doing more dependent upon each other, cooperative economically, those everyday images were saving graces to many of us. How do we get back there? I mean, how do we counter the power of the media?
Accountability.
We counter that by beginning to build and structure our own educational systems. We counter that by developing the movement again. We counter that by bringing images to our children that are life-saving and life-sustaining. And we do that purposefully and well planned. And some of that is going on right now. You know, there is across the United States independent black schools that are promoting and teaching African history and black political thought, and teaching self-assuredness and self-actualization, and guiding and directing our children to be identified as African people. We cannot defeat the media. That is a resource we don't have, right? So if we do not organize it, on the grassroots level and build it from the ground up, then of course we're again in a losing proposition.